I'm Steve.
And you're watching Comics TV.
Spider-Man, Superman, they're all coming right to you. Venom, Bud, Archie too, they will all be here for you on Comics TV. Comics TV. Fantasy and enemy, what's it gonna be now? Alternative and mainstream too, here every week for you on Comics TV. Comics TV.
Welcome to another great Comics TV show. We've got some great reviews today, including
Go Power,
Go
Torture
Power.
Dissection, and Rob Liefeld's Fighting American.
That's Hitting American.
Close enough.
We also have Dr. Tomorrow, Tarzan, and an Aliens special.
In our interview segment, we have Pam Bliss and Sparky the Wonder Dog.
That's right. We also
Down,
have
Sparky.
Check Your Comic Queue and a dual review of Spawn the movie. So stay tuned as we bring you tons of great stuff. But first, we received an interesting email from Jack of Cheektowaga. Jack says, "Hey, your Spawn preview was cool. I like your show. How come, though, Steve never shows his feet?" How about that, Steve?
I have no feet. I have flippers.
Well, see, there's the answer to that question. And Jack, thanks for sending the email. We will be sending you out a special Comics TV package in the mail. So let's kick off today's show with Steve's very first amazing, wonderful comic book review.
Okay, today, for my first review, is Dr. Tomorrow, #1 of 12. It's from Acclaim Comics. It's $2.50, written and inked by Bob Layton, with art by Don Perlin. This is a new story about a man from the future who is put back in time to try and change the history of war. In these trials, he tries to save his friend Cappy's son during World War II, which was a significant part as he passes away. He tries to change history, but he figures he can't. The story in this one was excellent. It's fresh, it's new, there's a lot of plot twists throughout, brand new ideas, really good book. Bob Layton makes a great comeback. The art was basic, but nothing special. Overall, I'd have to say this is a very, very good reading book. Sometimes you got to pick up a book for its story, not only the artwork. This is definitely one of them. I give this one a hot, definitely pick this one up.
Excellent, excellent. Topping the Comics TV news, the July 12th TV Guide animation issue had some interesting information. Apparently, MTV has signed Peter Bag of Hate fame to develop a show based on hate. Also, Shannon Wheeler of Too Much Coffee Man is in developing a series and will be shopping it around this August.
There will be a new syndicated series called Nightman. Matt McComb will play the Malibu Comics superhero cruising around San Francisco in his Plymouth Prowler, which is absolutely awesome. And also, David Hasselhoff, Mr. Baywatch himself, will be playing Marvel Comics' Nick Fury in a Fox TV movie.
And just announced this week, Beavis and Butthead will be ending their reign of terror over MTV viewers this coming October. Don't forget to check out Toronto's Comic Book Expo 97, August 23rd to 24th up in Toronto. Guests will include
Mark Silvestri, Dale Keown, Bat, Buzz, and Belfry. Oops, not Belfry, not that one. And many more. Tickets are $9 and $15 Canadian. Call 416-761-1760 for more details. Stay tuned for more Comics TV news later in the show.
Girl Power is a big, fat compilation collecting the complete Atomic City tales. This is, of course, Volume 1. Kitchen Sink Press published this book for $12.95, and Jason Stevens, possibly Steffens, I'm not quite sure how he says it, did the dirty work. Felix, better known as Big Bane or Prime Vibe, whatever he may be doing at the time, is star of this bizarre tale. That's what it is. It's a bizarre tale. He's a superpowered guy. He's a superpowered guy who's playing with all of his powers. He can do anything. He can be anywhere. He can be anything he wants. But his friends bore of this little fantasy life. There's a giant woman, evil scientists, robots, bad guys, and a real superhero, the Green Torpedo.
Not the green tomato?
No, it's not fried.
Okay.
Sound like it's too much for you? Well, it almost is too much. I like Stevens' art. Steffens. It's very clean, very professional, in that it looks like a lot of the big-time comic book creators. The story was definitely out there in left or possibly right field, somewhere. Bit jumpy at times. I couldn't entirely follow the plot, which made it a bit tough to read. Overall, I liked the book, but would I spend $12.95 on it? No. So I have to give the book a thumbs down, a not hot, because it didn't fulfill all of my fantasies. There were plenty of good points, but not enough to push me off the ledge, like Steve would if he could.
Still coming up, The Fighting American. Did Rob Liefeld need to make the world mad? The world is mad. Why did he have to do it? And the dual review of Spawn the movie.
That's right, but first, let's check your comic queue.
Yes. How many different major costumes has Spider-Man had?
Does that include former Buffalo Bill Daryl Talley?
Yes, it does include Daryl Talley.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Don't lie to the people. No, but he
wears Spider-Man underoos.
Anyhow, next.
Next, in today's interview, we bring you Pam Bliss and Sparky the Wonder Dog. Pam has been putting out mini comics for a few years, so now let's see what she's selling.
I'm Pam Bliss, and I'm from Valparaiso, Indiana, and these are Paradise Valley comics featuring, among other titles, Sparky the Dog. Sparky's America's favorite cartoon. I have a lot to learn how to do this.
Really?
Absolutely.
What kind of philosophy does he throw out?
Philosophy about, well, let's put it this way, philosophical comments about modern society. He's a media creation and lives in the real world and also in the world of fantasy that he gets from watching TV and going to the movies.
Really?
Yep.
Well, he's a well-learned dog, huh?
You betcha.
So.
And he can talk.
Oh, he can talk. Well, that's even more.
Yeah.
See, unlike Garfield, whose mouth doesn't really move, does his mouth move?
I don't know. Honestly, that whole topic's never come up. You mostly see him with his mouth shut and his tongue hanging out and talking anyway. Yeah.
He talks with his mouth shut too? So he is kind of like Garfield. Well, he's not as chubby.
Yeah. And I draw him all the time myself.
Do you?
Unlike Garfield.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So how long have you been doing these?
This is my 8th Chicago Comic Con.
Really?
With a small press comic. The very first one was Sparky #1 in 1989.
Really?
So I've had it longer than I thought I would.
Obviously, you don't make a living just doing this.
Absolutely not. It's just purely something I do for fun. Though over the last couple of years, it has been breaking even.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It pays for itself. So that's about all you can ask out of art.
Yeah. And if you can have fun and pays for itself, there you go.
Absolutely. And I'm growing as a cartoonist. Some of my latest work is in the larger formats, B36, and also the logbooks of the Traveling Travelall.
But they're still Sparky?
Oh, no. Well, Sparky is in some of them. In fact, you can see him.
Yeah.
It's in the cockpit of the B36 there. No, I'm experimenting with longer forms, with autobiographical comics, and also with adventure stories.
Really?
The Traveling Travelall books are adventure stories.
Great.
And trying to become the best storyteller I can.
Excellent.
As well as to write the funny stuff.
Sounds like fun.
It is. It's a gas. It's the most fun thing you can do in the whole world. You can do anything, be anywhere, be anyone with comics, and all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil.
And it looks like you're having fun at it.
I am. Well, that doesn't count the years I came here as a fan before I started doing it.
Oh, there you go. So you've been here a few times. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Hello, Buffalo.
Great interview there, Pam. Good to see Sparky's doing well. And don't forget, you can contact us here at Comics TV, P.O. Box 220-220, Buffalo, New York, 14225. Our email address is COMXTV, COMXTV, at localnet.com.
Yes. My next book today is Return of Tarzan, #1 of 3 from Dark Horse Comics. It's $2.95. The book is written and illustrated by Thomas Yates. The story deals with the triumphs and tragedies of Tarzan when he was young. It also shows how he befriended a Mugambi tribesman and became a friend of the tribe when he fought against white slavers, being a white man himself. The art is okay. I didn't think it was spectacular because it looked like it was splashy, and it didn't especially stand out to me. The story was just like an old Tarzan movie with Johnny Weissmuller. Same exact thing. You always see him fighting against white slavers and other African tribes. On our Comics TV rating scale, I would have to give this book a not hot, because if you want something really good, go to the video store and rent a Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan movie.
I believe Buster Crabbe was also another,
yes, he
another
was.
one, but Johnny was a good one.
There was about 9 different Tarzans overall. It's amazing how many Tarzans there was, but they all do the same thing, swing from vines. They got a little pet, and oh, you know.
Tortured Dissection is by Buffalo native and what do you call him when he lives here? He lives here, yeah. Dennis John Glinsky. It's resident, there's the word, resident.
Buffalo native resident.
Issue #1 from Legacy of Death Productions, cost $2.50. Now, to say this is a great comic would be a shamble. To say it's a good comic might be a lie. To say it's a bad comic would be close, but not entirely true. This is a tough book to review, because I like Dennis. I think he's a good guy. But, boy, Dennis, you got to get yourself an artist, boy. I mean, you've got some decent stories, but the story's your basic horror tale with aliens trying to eat their way through town and 2 lone souls trying to stop them. Sounds rather original. The backup story has a demonic rock band killing their fans for sacrifices. Both stories are okay. The art is, well, okay, I guess. I have seen worse, so I guess that's a good thing. But he seems to have quite a following. He's got people writing in from as far as Australia, so he's got something going for him. So if you think, well, let me get to the point here. I didn't like the book, okay? I don't like it. I don't mind horror books, but the story, okay. The artwork is bad. It's very sad. Ooh, bad, sad. But anyhow, I guess if you're into this kind of stuff, you might like it. I don't recommend it. I have to give it a not hot, thumbs down, no way. And since he's from Buffalo, give the guy a chance. Go out and buy it.
In August, Fantagraphic Books releases the 2nd collection of Jim Woodring's legendary anthropomorphic character, Frank. The wordless 96-page book, not the 96-book page,
1-page book,
features the adventures of Frank and his antagonist, Manhog. It will sell for $16.95. Woodring has earned both Harvey and Eisner nominations for his frank work in the past several years.
And it's been very frank.
Very frank with us, too.
Also this month, Image Comics continues releasing some of their new alternative titles. Michael Omen's sci-fi series, Ship of Fools, issue #0, will introduce readers to his characters. And from Brian Bendis will be the first Jinx trade paperback, compiling the first 4 issues of this series.
The Cryptic Writings of Megadeth will be an ongoing quarterly series from Chaos Comics. This book will bring back the dark, powerful music of Megadeth to life on the pages of the comic book.
And as always, the Comics TV news is brought to you in association with the Comic Book Club electronic magazine. Still coming up, The Spawn dual review, and first we have another wonderful, loving review from Steve.
Loving?
Yes.
Oh, isn't that special? It's
Very
so
special.
loving.
Just do it.
Alien Special is a $2.50 book from Dark Horse Comics. There are 2 stories, one titled 45 Seconds, written by Denko McCann, a popular internet contributor. The story has a guy dreaming about all the aliens, but is he? The second story is called Elder Gods, which has to do with finding the tomb of the lost god of aliens, but instead of destroying it, a cult is trying to save it. Both stories were okay, but I've seen better plots before. The art was okay, nothing spectacular. The first story was very sketchy, and the second one was much cleaner. The most interesting part of this book were the 2 preview books at the end for upcoming Alien series. I give this one a not hot. Don't try and buy this book just to live on the Aliens name, because it's not worth it.
Not worth it. Aliens are hot, though, aren't they?
Aliens are hot.
Good thing you didn't pay for this one.
Good thing I didn't pay for this one. I don't never pay for this one.
That's a shame.
Yeah, ain't it, though?
Awesome. Entertainment blew everyone out of the water when they licensed the rights to Joe, Simon, and Jack Kirby's Fighting American character. Did he do it just to tick people off? You have to wonder. Maybe and maybe not. I think he truly loves drawing the American icon character, and that's why he liked doing Captain America so much. This preview of issue number 1 looks promising. There's no text, but the art by Rob and Stephen Platt looks typical. Maybe Jeff Loeb's writing and the previous history of the character will help make this a worthy book. Another interesting book I received is the People's Comic Book Newsletter from Paul Dale Roberts. It's a $2 newsletter that promotes amateur and professional comic book artwork. In a nutshell, it's a fan magazine. There are interviews, reviews, fan art, and a lot of correspondence. It's a good outlet for many comic fans of all ages. Contact the People's Comic Book Newsletter at Silhouette, SILHOUET at ix.netcom.com.
And now, yes, now, the answer to today's Check Your Comic Q.
That's right. How many different major costumes has Spider-Man had?
Drum roll, please. 4. 4 major costumes.
Well, if that is correct, and if you believe it's correct, well, congratulations to you for being a comic book genius. Anyhow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Today on the Do Review, we bring you a special comic book movie review.
Today, we're reviewing Spawn, the movie. Last weekend, me and Mike decided, hey, and our camera persons, decided, hey, we're going to go see the movie and see what we think about it, seeing as it's a big comic book hit with Todd McFarlane and all his fans.
Well, this PG-13 movie ran about 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
The Buffalo News' reviewer apparently had no clue when he reviewed the movie. He appeared to be comparing Spawn to characters like Batman or Superman. There is no comparison.
No.
They're different types of heroes. Oh my goodness, Spawn's taken off to Spawn Alley.
Spawn's taken off. Spawn Alley's haunted.
Spawn is more of an anti-hero. He's kind of dark and sinister. I was actually pretty surprised to see a packed house opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Even more surprised that there was clapping during the movie, and at the end of the movie there was people clapping. Obviously, they were comic book geeks.
Obviously.
I mean, nobody else would clap.
Just to throw in something quick, as we were sitting there, a couple guys were talking about some comic books behind us, and me and Mike just looked at each other. And
they were talking about Dark Horse comics.
Some Dark Horse comics, gave each other a little giggle on it. It was funny.
This long-anticipated movie could make or break Todd McFarlane.
Very much so.
Movie started, okay, this is going to be my little part here. The movie started a little slow with what seemed like longer than usual credits. I haven't read a lot of the Spawn story, so I'm not sure actually how much of the story was true in there. How about you?
I have read it, and they went a little bit further than any of the books ever explained. With the family,
you guys out there quiet.
It's all fiction.
Oh, I don't believe it. I thought it was true. That's it. I'm done
it's
with
not
it.
true? That's it. I'm writing a letter to Todd. They went a little far-fetched on a lot of stuff that actually didn't happen in the books, but I guess for the movie you had to.
Well, personally, I didn't think the story was too bad. It's an action sci-fi thriller, for the most part. It wasn't a Superman saves the day type of superhero flick, which news reviewer Rafer Guzman seemed to miss. I doubt it's going to be the movie of the summer, but it's also not the worst one either.
No, not at all.
The special effects, as you saw last week on Comics TV, were great. They were very, very good.
Fabulous.
Clown Violator is impressive. I thought that was pretty cool.
Very much so.
John Leguizamo, he's excellent. He plays a funny, funny character. There's puns and jokes throughout the whole movie, providing a lot of humor. There was a lot of funny parts.
I'll tell you what, without the clown in the movie being like he was, the movie probably would have bombed totally.
I agree. Without that character...
Without that character in there with his wisecracks and his joking around, it would have bombed.
Yeah, I think I agree.
They couldn't have
with you
lived on action alone, definitely.
Overall, to me, was the movie worth $7?
No.
Okay. Well, that was my answer.
That was Michael's answer and mine.
Not on story alone, I don't think.
No.
I think the story was just a little thin. I mean, the story is portrayed on the big screen. It's not much different than it in a lot of the action flicks that are out there. I mean, they have your basic bad guy, good guy, duke it out. Good guy usually wins. The basic premise for a lot of comic books, too. It's the same kind of thing. But is it worth going to a matinee?
Matinee, probably. Full price, not on your life.
Yeah, I didn't think so. It's a fun movie. I think all ages would probably enjoy it, as long as like kids would understand that it's just a movie. A lot of that stuff is special effects.
I mean, that's one thing. We were in there and somebody brought in a baby to see the movie, which I think is...
Luckily, the baby
kids.
didn't cry during the movie.
Well, there are a lot of little kids there, maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, that probably read comic books, and their parents are like, hey, let's check this out. But honestly, I thought it was a little bit too violent to have somebody that young in and watching a movie like this. Plus, on my note here, I'm going to say, if you don't collect Spawn, you're not going to know what's going on. I'm sure a lot of the people that maybe brought their little kids are sitting there going, what's going on? How come, you know, this is doing this, this is doing that?
True.
If you're not a comic book collector or a Spawn collector, you're not going to know what's going on. You're not going to know the characters, Malibu Gia, what he represents, how many levels of hell, which they didn't explain in there.
Well, I guess you could get around that, though, because you could see that he was the master of hell in the army and everything.
That's fine, but also what you got to understand here is, like, a quick appearance by Angela was in there, and unless you knew what she was,
but she didn't really do anything.
She didn't do nothing. She stood there. You seen her real quick wearing the Angela earrings with the Spawn logo. That was it through the whole movie. That's all you've seen of her. I mean, it didn't live up to my expectations of a movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, the special effects and the action scenes were absolutely fabulous, but it didn't live up to my expectations of a Spawn movie. I mean, the animated series on HBO is a lot better than this.
Yeah. Well, I was able to sit there for 90 minutes and believe the world of Spawn to be real.
Yep.
Special effects did help to create this fantasy world.
Very much.
Without them and without Clown, there is no movie.
The movie would last about a week.
About a week and about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Overall, I would have to say that this movie was good. It was one of the better comic book movies that's come out in a long time. This wasn't Captain America, Barbed Wire, Phantom.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of those movies. I thought it was a little bit better than that. The only
reason I'm going to say it's a little bit better is because of the special effects and all that they had there in the video animation.
Yes, but also
Martin Sheen was very good actor.
And Michael J. White is very good,
Michael
too.
J. White played, I'll tell you what, if there was anybody that could play a perfect Al Simmons, Michael J. White did it.
Yeah.
He played it. He understood the character, so he must have did a lot of studying with Todd McFarlane to understand the character, because he sort of understood that he was doing wrong, and when they went to wipe him out, he knew everything. And it was pretty good the way he understood everything, if you understood what I just said.
Yeah, yeah. He took his character. He read his character.
He read his character. He understood it very well.
Will this take Todd McFarlane to the next level? It's a big question. It definitely looks like, in my opinion, this looks like he may be on his way to possibly being the greatest comic book creator ever.
Could be. Or will he bomb and face Malibu Gia in 7 levels of hell? I honestly say, if you're a comic book collector, check it out at a matinee. Don't pay full price. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you don't know who Spawn is, pass on it.
Hey, like I said, I agree with Steve on the matinee. I would have to give the movie a thumbs up.
I would give it a thumbs up for action and excitement and leaving you on the edge of your seat, but other than that, no. Plot and storyline, not.
Well, excellent. Thanks for tuning in this week. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Let us know what you think. Coming next week, we have a dual review of Gunsmith Cats and an interview with Star Trek illustrator Rob Davis. I'd like to say hi to the guys that saw me at KB Toys after the Spawn movie. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Steve Prisbill. And as we say each and every week, reading is your best investment. So when you visit that local comic book store, tell them you've seen us on COMX-TV, the world's best comic book show.
Hey, you know what the guy wanted to know was if Steve ever got a copy of High from Ken.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It took a lot of begging, but Ken finally gave one up. No offense, Ken.
Yo, you want to play some baseball? No, thanks. I'm gonna chill. Dude, want to get some rock and roll tonight? Nah, I'm just gonna hang. Hey, man, want to do some skateboarding at the mall? Nah, I'm not into it.
You thought smoking pot would take you places you'd never been. So how come you're going nowhere?
Some summer friends, this one is free.
No, I better not.
Tell you what, guess which hand it's in, and it's yours. What do you say?
I don't